6 p.m. on Thursday, the Pennsylvania State Police responded to a vehicle fire on Tiger Valley Road in Londonderry Township. They discovered the remains of human remains in the vehicle. The Pennsylvania State Police criminal investigators were called to the scene. They conducted an investigation, and obviously there was a deceased person. As a result of the investigation, 3 people have now been charged. Jonta St. Clair Bishop of Hagerstown, Maryland, 18 years old, has been charged with murder, arson, theft, and abuse of a corpse. And then Nicholas Forbes, 19, of Buffalo Mills, and his mother, Kimberly Forbes, 45, of Buffalo Mills, have been charged with arson, hindering apprehension, abuse of a corpse, and tampering with evidence. There'll be a preliminary hearing scheduled for next Wednesday at 9 a.m. All 3 are being held at the Bedford County Jail now in lieu of posting bail. Jonta Bishop's being held without bail, and Nicholas Forbes and Kimberly Forbes are being held on $300,000 bail, which they've not posted.
The Volkswagen Beetle that this person was found in, was that his car?
Was it the victim's car?
It is believed to be the vehicle owned by the deceased.
Okay.
Where in the vehicle was his body located? Is that information available?
In the rear of the vehicle.
Rear of the vehicle?
Yeah.
Back
Is it
seat or
in the trunk?
Trunk.
It was found in the
The
trunk.
trunk and Volkswagen Beetles are in the front.
Well, it's in the back area of the vehicle.
So it was in the back area
Yeah.
of the vehicle. What do we know about the motive for this?
I don't really want to comment on the motive at this time until the investigation is finalized. So we do have some information about the motive, but I think it's premature to release that at this time.
How do the victim and the suspects know each other?
Acquaintances, best way to describe that. And I think it actually probably suggests part of the motive in this crime.
Were there drugs or anything involved in this situation?
And again, that would really go to the motive, which I don't want to comment on at this time.
Okay. And as far as the prime suspect, Bishop, being from Maryland, was the victim from Maryland, or was he from the Bedford County area?
The victim hasn't been positively identified yet, but we believe he's from the Bedford area. And the Jonta Bishop was staying with his grandmother at her residence in the Hyman area.
Okay.
So he's from Hagerstown, Maryland. He was living with his grandmother, or at least staying with his grandmother at the time of the crime.
What's the relationship between Forbes, the 19-year-old, and the 45-year-old? Is that daughter and father, or
Father and, or mother and son?
Mother and son.
Yeah, mother and son.
Okay.
And again, how are they in relation to this? They are being charged with assisting with the arson?
They're essentially involved as accessories after the fact. They were involved in helping John to clean up the murder scene, dispose of the body.
Which
That's
the
where
murder scene was?
where
was the location of the murder scene?
We're not releasing that at this time.
So, but just to be clear, the murder happened at one location. The body and the arson
was removed from the scene, and the body was removed from the scene where the murder occurred, and taken away in the car, and that's where the car fire occurred. That's where the arson was. Yeah.
And because of the arson, I mean, does that make this investigation difficult at any point?
Well, I will comment on that. This Pennsylvania State Police worked around the clock. Trooper Martini especially arrived at the scene at 6 p.m. that evening, or shortly after 6 p.m., and pretty much worked for the next 33 consecutive hours until these 3 suspects were in custody and arrested. So I commend the state police for their investigative efforts. I'm sure, looking at this initially, there weren't a lot of leads. They worked hard to interview people in the area, gather the information, and get these 3 people into custody. And I can assure the people in the Hyman area that there is no danger at this point. All the people involved in this crime, we believe, are now in custody.
And should we be concerned as far as anything of other people knowing information that could further help either your case or the suspect's case, as far as whether they are guilty or not? Because it is, you are innocent until proven guilty, but could there be people out there with more information to help this case one way or the other?
Well, the state police, they did a lot of interviews, and they investigated this and talked to a lot of people that were involved in the that had information. But if there's other people that have information out there that they think would be relevant, I always encourage them to contact the state police and share that information.
What do you think we're going to find out at the preliminary hearing on the 1st? You know, what's some of the information that we can expect to learn?
Commonwealth will call witnesses that'll substantiate the case, but obviously the preliminary hearing, that's not the trial. We present just enough to establish a prima facie case, and that's what we expect to do in this case. So I haven't really sat down, looked at the reports, and decided what witnesses we're going to call at the preliminary hearing yet, but we'll make those decisions, and we'll be prepared to proceed next Wednesday.
Now, if this case goes to trial, if Bishop is charged with murder of the first degree or third degree murder, or especially first degree, do you think he'd be going after the death penalty on this?
It's very premature to make that determination. I want to gather all the facts and talk to the family and make that determination. There's only limited circumstances where you can seek the death penalty, and even then, you have to make sure it's appropriate for this particular case. We're going to look at all those facts and make that determination down the road. The law doesn't require that decision be made until formal arraignment, which we're several weeks, if not months, away from that.
Okay, so he was already deceased when he was placed in the vehicle.
Yes.
So his original cause of death would be what?
Gunshot wound to the head.
A gunshot, just one single gunshot wound, multiple times?
Gunshot wound to the head is all I could say at this time.
Now it's believed to have, the original incident is believed to have been done at the Forbes home. Can you confirm that? That an altercation broke loose at the Forbes home?
That's where the Forbes family became involved. I don't want to say where the shooting occurred at this point in time.
Right.
That part of it's still under investigation.
Right, so it's possible that the deceased was at the Forbes home where Bishop was as well, at the Forbes home, and the mother wasn't home originally. She came home.
Yeah, I don't want to comment on speculation or possibilities, hypotheticals. What I've said right now are the things that we believe we can prove. I'm not going to get into speculating. As we can release those details, we will, and obviously we'll be prepared to present those in evidence at any hearing on the case.
And again, could I just have you talk about, how state police and you have really worked together on this case to get those people in custody?
Yeah, I've been in constant communication with the state police, and they were giving me updates. I was talking to them, and like I said, I'm thoroughly impressed at the investigation, and the citizens of Bedford County should be proud of the officers that they have working for them, because, like I said, the arresting officer in this case, Trooper Martini, did not sleep from the time this was reported till the time she had these people arraigned and in jail. And that speaks volumes of the competence and integrity and dedication we have of our law enforcement professionals in Bedford County.
Do we have a timetable as to when we might be able to learn the name officially?
Probably later today, quite frankly. All indications are that the person has been identified. Really what I'm just concerned about right now is family notification, to make sure notifications have been made. So after talking to the state police, either my office or the state police will release that name. And we actually know who the person is. Really at this point in time, it's really just making sure there have been appropriate family notifications.
Okay.
Sounds good. Anything else you can add?
No, nothing further. Other than, and I think I've already commented on this, I want the people of Hyman to know there's nothing to be concerned about. All people involved in this case have been apprehended.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.